Sarah Beanie is in the final stages of the biggest project of her career. Saving her 97-room crumbling stately home by turning it into a top-class wedding venue, all in just 8 months.
30 acres of land, 40,000 square feet, 30 bedrooms, 200 years old.
It's been a financial drain on Sarah and husband Graham for years.
The first thing I'd probably say if I had turned up here and I was a contributor on property acquisition to bought it, and I'd be right.
Dry rot, infestation and Britain's worst winter have all been overcome to bring about an amazing transformation.
The first time I feel as if we're actually going in the right direction.
Now the race is on to finish the restoration in time for Rise's very first wedding.
We don't have enough money
or
enough time.
But the bride and groom are still very anxious.
He wants to be looking a bit better on the day of the wedding.
And failure is unthinkable. But Sarah has made one important administrative oversight.
I sort of didn't get around to organising the wedding licence.
There's so much at stake, but time is running out.
I'm really nervous about tomorrow. The sheer scale of this project could easily swallow us whole. Dry rot, wet rot, woodworm, mould. Sadly, we've got the lot. 149 windows, 97 rooms. It's terrifyingly huge.
Sarah and Graham have been hard at work throughout the Easter holidays, trying to get as much done before the kids have to get back to school.
Oh, that's looking great.
Sarah's made a lot of promises to the bride and groom, and now she's got to keep them. In 2 months' time, she has to give them the best day of their lives.
The sooner we have a wedding, the sooner we can get it ready to have more weddings, the sooner we generate an income, and the sooner this place is restored.
Reputation is everything in the wedding game. Bad word of mouth could kill their fledgling business. They've got to get everything right. Rise is made up of 97 rooms over 2 floors. Its front third, where Sarah and her family stay, was sound but needed serious refurbishment. Now its 3 main reception rooms, including the entrance hall where the wedding will take place, are as impressive today as they would have been during its heyday. The wedding reception is due to take place in the sports hall, a remnant of Rise's days as a convent school. Right now, this is the last place you'd want to celebrate getting married, so somehow Sarah needs to turn it into an amazing function room.
It's like a sort of ugly monster on the end of the house that's sort of waiting to be dealt with.
The plan, as always with Sarah, is ambitious. The 70s safety glass windows are due to be replaced with elegant French doors, and the austere brick walls need to climb with pretty plants rather than algae.
At last, this shitty sports hall is about to get a facelift. I'm about to jet wash off 20 years of mould from the inside, and we're finally going to make some progress with it. Okay, cool.
This is spring cleaning on an industrial scale. Sarah's got herself a pressure washer that's normally used to remove graffiti and make short shrift of the decades of grime and slime. But this is just the first step in turning the old sports hall into somewhere a bride and groom might consider having their reception. But the big issue with the gym was always the windows, and Sarah's just found out the company that was due to do the work can't deliver in time, literally leaving a huge hole in her plans.
It's turning into a nightmare, these windows in the sports hall, I have to say. In fact, the whole sports hall, I quite wish someone would just blow it up.
The idea was to have floor-to-ceiling doors that would open out onto a beautiful patio where guests could enjoy the view while knocking back cocktails.
We need to find a different company.
They were doing us quite a good deal.
They were doing us, yeah.
I think they worked out that they couldn't do the deal that they were offering to do for us, and that means that we don't have enough weeks left to do all the things that we do want to do.
It's a bit, to be honest,
this is a real headache.
If they can't find a new firm to manufacture and fit the windows in the next 8 weeks, they'll have to stick with what they've got, which isn't a pretty thought.
I'm worried about them actually coming in, looking at the whole thing together and going, I don't want to get married in a 1970s school sports hall.
Now they're really up against it. There's an endless list of jobs to do, and this is the last thing they need.
It's enough to make you lose the will to live.
Sarah and Graham's dream was not just to save 200-year-old Rise from dereliction, but to restore it to its former glory, to give it back the swagger and style it once enjoyed. So their plan is to create 3 very special bedrooms. 2 will hark back to Rise's past, they'll be in Regency and Victorian styles, and 1 will be cutting edge and contemporary.
They're kind of the main big periods of this house since it was built. It was built in the Regency times, and then there's the Victorian period that it's lived through. And then we've felt it was important to have a room that would have reflected design today. So they're probably going to be in those styles. I have to say they're probably not going to be that accurate because we are actually going to have fitted plumbing, which they wouldn't have had in the Regency times, and other luxuries.
The bride and groom, Ben and Selina, will choose one of the period rooms as their bridal suite. The other 2 will be taken by their respective parents, so it's crucial that Sarah and Graham make them the most outstanding bedrooms in the house.
I'm really worried about Selina and Ben being a bit disappointed with it as well. It's a really important day in people's lives, and yeah, I feel really crap if they turn up and walk away being disappointed with it.
But so far they've only managed to get some paint on the walls, and what with their French window worries, it's going to be touch and go if they get the rooms ready for the big day. That's of course assuming Sarah manages to get a wedding licence. She's finally completed all the paperwork and got it in the post, but before Rise can get the full licence, it'll need to be inspected and approved, and at the moment, Rise is a bit of a building site.
Things aren't in place and I still can't sign the licence.
Sarah Beanie has 6 weeks left to save her 200-year-old money pit by transforming it into a top-class wedding venue.
That stop date has to be met, and so we will have a wedding on the 19th of June.
Turning Rise Hall from a family home into a business is going to be tough. For the last decade, the house has been a refuge for Sarah and her family from the hustle and bustle of city life. But they all know that things are going to have to move on if the hall's going to survive.
I love coming up to the house, and I always in my head imagined that we were going to live here full time, and this was going to be our home. It's kind of weird to have moved on from that point where I was absolutely convinced this was only going to be our family home and we would be here full time.
Now that private dream is over, Rise has to start paying for itself. Graham and Sarah need to finish the work on the sports hall and bedrooms before the wedding deadline of the 19th of June. But in a couple of days, they've got to ship the kids back to London, so they've got to crack the whip.
You'll never ever go to lunch with the Queen.
The bride and groom are due to look round in a couple of weeks, and if there's been no progress, there's a real chance they'll cancel. One of Rise's big selling points should be the period bedrooms. They've done great things with the paintwork, but no one knows how these rooms would have been furnished back in the 18th century. So they're stealing some time for an inspiration trip to the magnificent Belvoir Castle in Lincolnshire to borrow some ideas.
That's totally splendid, isn't it?
Well, you were looking for a Regency castle. You can't get better than this.
No, this is completely glorious.
This was rebuilt after the fire by the 5th Duchess. She'd spent her honeymoon in France And after the fire here, she said to her husband, I want a room just like the one we stayed in. So bless him, he went back to France and bought the room.
See, if you really loved me, that's what you'd do for me.
Well, I was going to warn you about that.
I'm sorry, you have far too many children for me to be able to afford a room like this.
So mean.
But it's the bedrooms that Sarah and Graham have really come to see. Regency decor was inspired by Greek and Roman antiquity, and swathes of silk and floral brocade were all the rage.
Hey, this is a sort of detailing. It's things like that that we need to look at.
Yes. And also, what's interesting about this is you can actually get away with quite cheap material if you get the trimmings right.
But getting this look on their budget won't be easy. The Regency period, like the man that gave it its name, the Prince Regent, was all about excess and extravagance. The Prince liked the finer things in life, as Sarah and Graham are about to find out.
This is the Prince Regent's bedroom.
Now that's a bed and a half, isn't it?
That's exactly
Right.
the plan for the bed.
Again with the Prince Regent's favourite colour, hence the gold.
Is it a waterbed?
No.
It's bouncy.
Oh, it's just so comfortable, it's lovely.
This is tremendous. All our beds have to be this high.
But
As well as fancy fabrics, the Prince liked fine dining too. A special big belly-shaped hole had to be gouged in the corridor between his bed and bathroom.
This is a tummy hole.
It is.
That's great, isn't it?
It was there for you, but you just had a child too early.
In terms of feel, this is pretty much what we're trying to achieve, which is this wonderful opulence, but feeling like you can just sit on the sofa and have a chat. I think that's so great.
Graham and Sarah are back at Rise and buzzing with ideas from their trip to Belvoir. First on Sarah's to-do list is a super-sized Regency-style bed. But there's no money for antiques, so it's time for a bit of DIY, which is made so much easier by her army of little helpers.
Who's going to come and hold this for me?
I'm coming.
Sit up a bit, Raph. Thanks. No, bring it back this way. Thank you, honey. Such a pain. Running out of money, you have to get labour where you can.
You're not on me, are you?
So I don't have to pay you any money to help me. Really? Completely free. How about kids?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I get paid. Blimey, that's brilliant.
I charge
Yeah?
£1.
Oh, you do? £1 for how long?
All my life.
£1 for your whole life? Blimey, that's on camera, isn't it? Flipping excellent. Come 18, Billy, you'll do the washing up. Forever, never, never.
You haven't done a bad job of that.
You're so rude. This is quite high. I didn't realise it was so high. Oh no.
The big bed is too big. So while Sarah heads back to the drawing board, the lads make a start on the modern contemporary bedroom. This sleek, minimalist look relies on keeping it simple, like using large pieces of reconstituted granite around the bath, which will be in the bedroom.
It is a real luxury suite. It's something I've been wanting to do for ages, put a bath in a bedroom. I don't think it's something that you'd really want to live with all the time, but I think in the context of this house, it seems a shame not to have.
But time's up. Sarah and Graham have got to get the kids back to London, leaving the trades to get on without them.
So all the other businesses we're involved in will be imploding while we're up here, but the site moves on much better, which is great. Not that we haven't got some hiccups on their way, I'm sure. And there's an awful lot to do.
While the family hurtle down the M1, the bride and groom are back at Rise for an inspection. Graham and Sarah have decided not to charge them for the venue hire, as they see this first wedding as a test run for Rise. Selena and Ben are still spending a small fortune, so they want to see real improvements from their last visit.
Oh my God.
Mind yourself. Mind that board.
Yeah, and the wire. Yeah, it definitely needs some work.
It's a bit of a scare factor, isn't it, down here?
Yeah, some nice exposed brickwork. Should we be worried that there's bricks coming out the wall? We're not using this room though, are we?
Well, I don't
Surely.
know.
There's cabinets in
The corridors might need some work, but at least the bedroom should take their breath away.
Wow.
It's looking very interesting. It's a lot different than last time we saw it, but I don't know if it's any better than last time we saw it.
No, it's worse. So why is the bath in the bedroom?
Pass.
And what about the old sports hall, the venue for their posh reception?
Oh, no scaffolding.
Oh, wow.
So this room is huge.
Isn't it?
This room needs loads of work still. Even though it's done loads, we still need to ask about all the work that is going on in here.
That didn't quite go to plan.
Obviously, with Graham and Sarah, they have done a very lot in a short space of time, but we've got 5 weeks. It is our wedding and we need it to look perfect. I've dreamt about this day for ages, so I'm going to be ringing them more constantly, sending out emails, checking on things.
And good to her word, Selena's straight on the phone to Sarah in London.
I think the main thing that was, obviously there was no scaffolding in the sports hall.
Yeah, that's a good...
Still concerned about the ceiling and the windows, so he says that would be what he wants to know when that's getting finished.
You know, week by week now you'll see big strides forward, hopefully.
Yeah.
God, it's all very real, isn't it? I'm kind of thinking, it is actually her wedding day. I've only ever done building projects, and with building projects you kind of think, well, we'll get it done, it'll be fine. I kind of, it's a really big deal, someone's wedding day.
Before Sarah can focus on the details of the wedding, she's got to get the major restoration work finished. So there's only one thing for it, an emergency dash up north. In these last few weeks, all the effort's going into the back of the house, where the guest rooms need to be finished. But this is the part of the house that was in the worst state, and without all Graham and Sarah's efforts, it may well have gone the way of 1,500 stately homes that have been lost in the last 100 years. Now structurally sound, these rooms still need a lot of work if they're going to accommodate 60 guests in 5 weeks' time.
When will you be out of these 3 rooms in this corridor?
Probably Thursday next week.
Okay.
It's that tricky time in any build project. With deadlines looming, Sarah and Graham have to ask the workforce to redouble their efforts. Pushing too hard could cause even more problems.
I tried to push them on the other day a little bit, and I didn't do it without pissing them off. I might like something to take 2 days, but actually it needs to take 3 or 4 because they're not prepared to leave a substandard product behind them.
With such a rush on, all the trades are getting on top of each other, and understandably people are getting stressed.
There's that many things going on in the back half of the house, and I think they'll be pushed to get it done.
Sorry, but now I'm starting to panic, and if they're not, they should be.
But you need to talk to us about stuff anyway.
Yeah, at some point, yeah. We're going to have some deadlines, really, picks.
We haven't been...
It's not only Karen and Steve who are getting tense. After their early start and hectic day, Sarah and Graham are starting to feel the pressure too.
We got a problem?
Slightly, I spent 25 minutes looking for you because you didn't answer.
I've just found it. It fell off in here.
Oh.
I'm glad you spent 25 minutes looking for me.
Yes.
You could have done it before lunch, couldn't you?
In our 3.5 hours at Rise today. Anyway, to be honest, this wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be able to do this on my own without Graham. There's absolutely no way in hell I could do it on my own. I'd like to think you can do it without me, but maybe you could do it better without me.
And I'll be honest with you, quite narked.
With whom? Me?
I don't even think we'd have bought the house without you, so I don't think we need to worry about it.
Domestic over, there's just time for some TLC for the workforce.
Are you a bit worried about the 5-week deadline then? A bit? Are you a bit?
But for a normally ice-cool Sarah, that's not the easiest of prospects.
For years I've been involved in developing property, and I've always said it's either your home or it's a business and it's a development. And with this, it is a home and it's a business. And that makes for an awful lot of problems.
The workforce may be a bit happier, but there's still one big stumbling block: the lack of a wedding licence. So 10 days later, Sarah's back up north to meet the local registrar and safety officer. If they don't approve the venue, there'll be no licence and no wedding. To make matters worse, Sarah's forgotten another bit of essential administration.
They're wanting the liability insurance, which I've got a copy of here, and they're wanting the letter from the fire officer, which I've got here as well, to say that they're happy with it. Oh my God, I just realised there's something else they're looking for, which I haven't done. They're looking for the risk assessment as well, which I meant to download and complete. Do.
Not a great start.
But they'll be fine.
You want this room to be on the list as well?
Yeah, this is one. So this is the entrance hall. And I'd say you could have, I'd imagine that you could have 200 here.
200's quite tight. I would have thought that's tight, Sarah. Really.
Okay, how many do you think?
I think about 60 odd.
I promise it won't. In 4 weeks' time.
4 weeks' time?
Yeah. I trust me, you have to trust me, it will be fine. I know you don't believe me, but it'll be fine. And there's a door going on there, so...
A licence can't be granted yet. The inspectors will be back on the 14th of June, 5 days before the wedding.
Because I know you said about fire extinguishers and signage, and so I would like to sort of see that in
place.
Situ,
Yes. Okay, so, well, they'll be kind of quite close to the end.
Yeah, so I can't sign any licence off.
It's a bit of a challenge.
She'll need to prove that she's complied with all the health and safety requirements, such as...
All exit routes shall be maintained with non-slip and even floors. Such exit routes shall be unobstructed. All exit doors shall be available for immediate use without use of a key or similar fastening. All fire doors shall be maintained effectively.
If she doesn't, the wedding will be off and Rise's future will be in jeopardy. Sarah Beanie is in a race against time to complete the restoration of her crumbling country pile in time for its very first wedding.
Ultimately, this house doesn't stack up as a project. It would cost more to refurbish than it would ever be worth. But if we can give it a way of making an income, and that income can be spent on continuing to restore it, then it sort of justifies it existing, really.
They started the restoration project 8 months ago, but now there are only 3 working weeks left before the wedding, and there's still a heck of a lot to do. So Sarah and Graham are back up at Rise for one final push, but with the kids in tow, the house has to take second place to family life for a few hours.
See if you can make it look really pretty.
I like doing this because it looks like yellow poo.
Stop it, you monkey. Put some on half of it and then let Charlie do some. It does look amazing, guys.
What a beautiful cake, boys. Did you make that?
Yeah. Ready? Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Rafi. Happy birthday to you.
Here, blow out your candles.
Here, look, Raph.
You gonna blow?
3, 4.
This has been such a happy place for us. It's from the minute that we first saw it, we knew that it was going to be a lovely home, and despite the fact it's big, it's still a lovely home.
This is the last holiday the family will spend at Rise before it opens for paying guests. It won't any longer be a private home, but it's the only way to ensure the hall's survival. Celebrations over, Sarah and Graham get back to work. Grinders grind and rollers roll. The bedrooms need beds. The sports hall needs windows. The entrance gates need to be rendered. And there's still no wedding licence. One of Graham and Sarah's big ideas is to create 3 period bedrooms, but their Victorian room is tricky, as this era stretched over 60 years. These pictures of Rise show how much they liked heavy fabrics, big frame mirrors and dark wood furniture.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. So nice this was given to us by Sarah's father.
Luckily, Sarah and Graham have been collecting this type of furniture for years, and anything they haven't got they should be able to pick up cheaply at auction.
Not bad. This good old Victorian slab of wood, I think it's about 400 quid in auction. So.
You want to be careful when you try and recreate a period of the past, not to... You want to just take the best bits, really, and pull those forward.
One of the best bits of Victoriana they have is this imposing walnut bed frame.
Right, I've got to remember how this went together, haven't I?
The bride and groom have chosen the Victorian room as their bridal suite, so Graham and Sarah's brother Dickon, who's here to lend a helping hand, better make sure the bed is good and sturdy.
I know what'll fix it. If we all just stand here staring at it.
We don't need to fix
That's
it.
quite that.
Well done, boys. That's a tiny bit worried it's a little bit rocky.
Victorian furniture has fallen out of fashion lately, so you can pick it up for a decent price. This wardrobe was 350 quid and the chest of drawers was 200. And with a bit of TLC, they should last another 100 years. It's important that the Victorian room is in keeping with the rest of the house, as Rise is a Grade 2 star listed building. That puts it in the top 6% of listed buildings in the UK. Sarah and Graham have worked hard to keep their restoration sympathetic to the house's history. They've taken a lot of advice from their local conservation officer, Edward Atkinson. With 40 years' experience, there isn't much that Edward doesn't know about Regency houses, so will he be impressed by all the work at Rise?
I wouldn't say, no, forget it. But on the other hand, I think it needs to be very sensitively done, very lightly done. When you find somebody like Sarah who is wanting to retain its integrity, they are few and far between. Yes, have you repainted this? I don't remember it being this colour. It's much better, isn't it? This lovely terracotta. If it had not been for them, I think this building would now be in a parlour state where one might not have been able to save it.
Edward's really pleased, and that's down to a big team effort. To pay tribute to their workforce, artist Graham has decided to immortalise the decorators, plumbers and roofers who've made all the difference in a series of pictures that he's going to hang in Rise Hall's new gallery.
It's a real joke to them, and to me, this is my day job. This is what I do 5 days a week.
What will the team think of Graham's efforts to capture their inner beauty?
Problem wasn't it? You had a bloody beard when I did you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, brilliant, isn't it? It's amazing.
You got all my wrinkles as well.
Well, Jeff, have to do that sort of thing.
They look good. Really good.
Karen and I aren't so pleased with Karen's work.
Have a good look.
Yeah? It's like Crown Watch.
I'd just like to say we all looked a lot younger before we started this project.
Everywhere you look, there's someone working feverishly to get Rise ready for the wedding.
Oh, God. We're getting there. Although I do think that and then turn around and see something and think, oh, God.
In the old sports hall, they've finally found a company whose beautiful doors will transform it into a fantastic reception venue. The race is on. But with just 5 days before the wedding, have they done enough to convince the local authority to give them the all-important wedding venue licence?
My big worry is what happens if the wedding licence doesn't come through? We're really stuffed then. I can probably fix everything apart from not actually having a wedding licence.
Sarah needs to prove that even though there's still some last-minute work to be done, Rise is now a safe place for Ben and Selina's wedding.
Right. Bit better than last time, I'm hoping, you think?
How many chairs do you think you...
Here we've got 6 wide, But you can fit 8 wise.
So I think with 120 in this room, you'd feel quite packed.
It will be quite snug.
It's getting there, isn't it? It's better.
But has she done enough?
No problem.
Yeah, I'm satisfied now that Sarah's met all the requirements and I can go back to the office and sign off the licence now.
We now officially have a wedding licence for Rise Hall. So we are now open for naming ceremonies, weddings and civil ceremonies. Feeling quite pleased with myself about that. And pretty happy. Thank flippin' goodness is what I say.
There's no time to relax though. The feature bedrooms still need finishing. Sarah and Graham have had a Regency-style bed made out of MDF by Greg the carpenter, all for the princely sum of 200 quid.
There you go.
Pauline, the curtain lady, adds Sarah's carefully designed coronet and drapery to make it fit for the Prince Regent himself.
It's sort of not going over the top, but trying to keep it elegant without it looking too sort of tacky, really.
The contemporary room's bath is all plumbed in, and they've stuck to the minimalist look by furnishing it with, well, not much really. And in the Victorian room, Pauline's worked her soft furnishing magic again. It's now a fantastic bridal suite.
Oh, Pauline, this is amazing!
Fantastic, isn't it? So I just need to push the rail back a little bit.
It does look as if it's curtains from a brothel, doesn't it?
Which is perfect.
That's what we were looking for.
Because, to be honest, the best bit of Victoriana is the brothel side of it. Probably not for them at the time, but looking back.
Let's hope the bride and groom like the brothel look.
Beautiful.
It's the day before the wedding, and Rise is a hive of activity. Swarms of people have arrived to make the final transformation.
An awful lot of random people that I have no idea who they are walking around my house today.
Bride and groom Selina and Ben have turned up nice and early to make their final arrangements, only to find a queue of people waiting to get into the sports hall, or as it's now known, the Orangery.
The door's broken. Yeah. How long does it take to set all these things?
Well, it takes about half an hour to an hour just to get the tables and chairs in place.
Right. I was really calm when I arrived, and I seem to have my temperatures escalated now because it's crunch time. Everyone's here ready and waiting, and we're not actually moving anywhere because we're still waiting for the floors to dry and things.
Fortunately for Selina, Sarah's seen sense and hired Di, an experienced wedding planner, to help organise all the finer points of the big day.
How long before you think this will harden off so we can obviously get some tables placed? About another 10-15 minutes, do you think?
Yes,
at that far end.
it has to be bone dry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we may have to go over it just because we've obviously got some things to do with it, but that's fine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
10-15 minutes, you're a star. Thank you.
It's very chaotic, lots of people coming and going. There's lots of people I haven't seen, lots of places I haven't been to, but it's a bit manic. There's still a lot to do, there's lots of dust everywhere, and we'll get there, I'm sure, but I think it might be a late night.
But where's the boss when you need her? Sarah's dashed down the drive to supervise the rendering of her brand new entrance gates, which she hopes will look vaguely impressive by tomorrow morning.
I just think it would have been such a shame for the bride to come up the road in a horse and carriage to some breeze block pillars. It's kind of boots the moment somewhat. Anyway, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to look beautiful because Dean's going to be here till midnight and I need to get him a slab of beer.
Things are a little more ship-shape back at the house. 8 months ago, the back bedrooms were uninhabitable. Now, remarkably, they're ready for their first guests. Sarah and Graham have dragged themselves away from their last-minute scrambles to show Selina and Ben the 3 themed rooms which are finally finished. When they last saw them 4 weeks ago, they looked like this. So what will the happy couple make of them now?
This is not what I was expecting.
This is amazing. This looks completely different,
Yeah,
doesn't it? It's good, isn't it?
It's got character.
This looks phenomenal.
Is this the Arabian Princess room, this one?
The Regent's bedroom.
Regent's bedroom. This is
the room that wasn't quite finished last time, isn't
yeah,
it?
but it's better than last time though. It is better than last time.
A lot different than last time.
And it's huge.
But the most important room for Selena is the Victorian room, as she's chosen it for her bridal suite.
Oh wow.
It's so cute.
That's amazing.
That bed is amazing. I'll have all my bits and bobs out here, I should think.
Well, that seems to have gone down well. Elsewhere, glasses are polished, flowers arranged, and chairs are dressed. Rise is being transformed into a wonderful wedding venue. And now, save for a last few minute adjustments by the hosts, there's nothing left to do but hope.
Do you know, it's been kind of a really great day today. I've really enjoyed it. But I'm really nervous about tomorrow.
It's June the 19th, 2010. After 8 months of hard work, Rise is finally ready for its big day. What was once a leaking, near-derelict shell is now as impressive as it was in its heyday. The reception rooms would have made the Bethels, the original owners of Rise, proud. The 32 bedrooms have been completed, and even the old sports hall is now worthy of its new name, the Orangery. It really is a testament to a lot of hard work. But today's the big test for Sarah and Graham. They don't know anything about running a venue, and even though they've had wedding coordinator Di, there's still a long list of last-minute fixes. The wedding party is due to arrive in a few hours, so they better get their skates on.
So yeah, I'm going to move the car. The bins are here. I'm going to hide the rubbish in a, I don't know, someone's car or something. It's your suite. And then I'm going to put the fire extinguishers around. Did I put any makeup on this morning? Do I look really old? And I'm going to put some makeup on. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Rise is in the middle of nowhere, so Graham needs to get the freshly painted signs out to the entrance, or the guests could drive past oblivious of where they're meant to be.
Think about the bloody wind. Dean came in at 6 o'clock this morning to scratch these down. Bloody hell. It's not as if we haven't all been up at till 2 or 3 in the morning this week anyway. Cutting things a bit fine.
Back at the hall, everyone is busy with the finishing touches. But amidst all the activity, the reality of what is happening at Rise is just hitting Sarah.
To be honest, the only way I've been able to quite cope with the concept of renting this house out is in my head thinking everything will be locked and it'll be fine because no one can get in any of the bits that I really care about. Right now, I can't lock anything up and I'm going to get a little bit stressed in a minute.
Now all she has to do is work out which key locks which of the 97 rooms.
Also, I've renamed all the rooms into witty and amusing names in the last week, which means I don't know any of the names of the rooms. I look like I'm some sort of obsessional weird key fanatic, don't I? No one will get in. Now you can't get out. If I just show you inside, you can see. This is why I'm locking this room. There we are. I don't need to speak, do I? Should we just shut the door, eh? And we'll just lock it up.
But Sarah's lock fetish has backfired.
I think I might have locked it with an only locking, not unlocking key.
Sarah seems to have locked the door to the office, which has everything that I need to put all the signs up, my drills, my screwdrivers, tighten up things.
Pretend it's me.
Leave it Thomas and Jeff to sort that out.
Brilliant.
At least there's one door that's properly locked.
You've done finish locking that because you need to lock it.
Okay. Come on, old man.
The wedding party is on its way. Sarah and Graham have just got time to smarten themselves up before they have to play host to Rise's first wedding, and the bride's in a flap.
Right, so we're going to my mum's room now. Yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm glad everyone's here. Hair and makeup's here, so I'm all good. I don't care about anyone else. They're in the rooms. I need to get ready.
Is she decent?
No, let me decent now.
Okay.
I'm just getting my outfit off and getting ready.
Just
from Sarah and I. So.
Thank you very much.
No
Thank
problem.
You for that. Excellent. This is the preparation gown for the outfit. Brilliant. Well, we can crack that open.
Hey, how you doing?
See ya.
How you feeling?
Not bad. Yeah, all right.
All right, that's a good thing. You're only meant to feel all right.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
But as the bride and groom get themselves ready, Graham realises there's a problem. Ben and Selina have brought 5 extra overnight guests who haven't been booked in.
Now the problem is I'm a fire marshal. I need to know exactly who's in the house, or else, legally,
There's nothing Graham can do but go and confront Ben. Luckily, the groom is getting changed in the bathroom, so it's the best men who get both barrels from Graham.
yeah, I don't really want to hassle Ben with this now.
Yeah.
But we should have known about this a week ago. And if anybody else is going to come up and say, I'm expecting to stay, I need to know yesterday. Okay?
That's them told.
I hope it went okay. What I don't want to have to do is to be shoehorning piss people out of the door with them calling me every name under the sun. But you know, fire is the thing that we have to take more seriously than anything else.
The wedding is now just minutes away. The guests are waiting expectantly in the ceremony hall. A horse and carriage stands patiently on the driveway, but there's no sign of the bride and groom.
Someone just walked past, they look really pissed off. I thought, God, they think we're making it delay or something.
Has someone had second thoughts? Has Sarah's key obsession got the better of her and she's accidentally locked them in? Has Graham upset the groom? What the heck is going on? Sarah Beanie is staging Rise's very first wedding. The ceremony hall is full of excited guests, but the bride and groom have gone missing.
We're meeting the carriage in one.
Fortunately, it's just down to the registrars taking their time with the bride and groom's pre-wedding interviews. You can't hurry the law.
Can't believe we've got all this building work done and then the registrars take long, we're late because of that. Actually, that's not very fair, is it? They've been very nice.
At last, Ben takes his place and Selina arrives in her horse-drawn carriage.
That feels like quite an achievement. That just looks so amazing.
It's just as well I dressed up for the part, isn't it? I was going to be a bit better than this. Just didn't get around to it.
I'd marry you again, old man.
It's the day they thought would never come. 50 workers, 10,000 man-hours, 3,000 tins of paint, 32 bedrooms, 8 months of hard work. The restoration nightmare has turned into a dream.
We haven't got any daughters, so it'll never be like this for us.
Oh, it's such a relief.
We'll be able to be there.
You'll have bought a different house by then, trying to do the same thing to that, won't you? A bigger house.
Yeah, got rid of this silly little cottage.
Do you promise to love and respect her, be honest and faithful to her from this day forward?
I do.
Okay. Selina, do you take Benjamin to be your partner for life?
I do.
It gives me the greatest of pleasure to declare that you are now husband and wife together. Ladies and gentlemen, I think they've earned a round of applause.
Here's to the future of Ben, Selina and Rise Hall.
Right, well, I'd call that seamless myself.
Thank you.
All of it looked so romantic, didn't they? And she looked lovely.
I didn't see very much. I was having a cup of tea.
Oh, Graham.
Please greet your bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
But even talking to Graham and Sarah earlier about the work they've done over the last few days and getting stuff ready for today, even the little finishing touches which they couldn't finish, I've not noticed anything wrong.
A lot of people were a bit concerned when I said, oh, we're getting married in a stately home that's not even been renovated. And it's just gone so beautifully, and I couldn't have asked for a better wedding day.
It's been a big day for Sarah and Graham. After all, it's not every day you hold a wedding in your own home.
But there was a lot of things that could have gone wrong, and actually it would seem that they had a great day, and it's kind of amazing to think that...
I hope they had a great day.
Well, so far. They're not shouting at us, it must have been all right.
The restoration of Rise has been a real team effort.
We've had texts from most of the builders here.
We've said it so many times, but really, seriously,
we
are
love
so lucky to have had the quality and the loyalty of the workforce that we've had here.
The biggest journey on this house was stopping the house falling down, and we've done that.
For the budget that we had to spend on it, I think it's looking really, really good.
They've done it. Sarah and Graham have staged Rise's first wedding. Now, hopefully, they've found a way to keep this Georgian treasure standing for the next 200 years.